Imagine a single path in the desert, only 200 meters wide. Now imagine that if this path closes for just 6 days, the entire global economy loses $60 billion. This isn't a hypothetical scenario. It's the Suez Canal, a 193-kilometer man-made artery that holds the pulse of modern civilization. But this canal is more than just a shortcut for ships. Today on Yieldverse, we are decoding the chokehold of the world. We will show you how a ditch in the sand changed global trade forever, and why in 2026, the battle for these narrow waters is more dangerous than ever. Let's head to the front lines of global trade. Welcome back to Yieldverse. You had to sail around the entire continent of Africa, a treacherous 7,000-mile detour. But in the mid-1800s, humanity decided to rewrite the map. The construction of the Suez Canal wasn't just an engineering feat. Today, we explore the history, the blood, and the billions behind the world's most important shortcut, and why your personal sovereignty is still tied to what happens in these narrow waters. The idea of connecting the Mediterranean to the Red Sea goes back to the pharaohs, but it was Ferdinand de Lesseps, a French diplomat, who finally made it a reality in 1869, but this dream was built on a nightmare. Over 1.5 million forced laborers, Egyptian peasants, toiled in the desert sun. Tens of thousands died of cholera and exhaustion. When the waters finally met, the world shrank. Suddenly, London was weeks closer to Mumbai. But with this convenience came a new form of addiction. The world became addicted to just-in-time global trade, and Egypt found itself at the center of a colonial tug-of-war. For decades, the British and French owned the canal. Egypt provided the land and the lives, but Europe took the profits. That changed in 1956. Gamal Abdel Nasser, the Egyptian leader, did the unthinkable. He nationalized the canal. He claimed Egyptian sovereignty over Egyptian soil. The response? Britain, France, and Israel launched a secret invasion. This was the Suez Crisis, the moment the world realized that whoever controls the canal controls the energy of the West. It was the last gasp of old-school colonialism and the dawn of a new era, where trade routes are the ultimate weapon of war. Fast forward to 2021, a single ship, the Ever Given, gets stuck. For 6 days, the world stood still. Toilet paper shortages in Europe, oil price spikes in America, stalled factories in Asia. This was a black swan event that exposed the terrifying fragility of our global system. We have built a world that relies on 12% of all global trade passing through a single point of failure. In 2026, as geopolitical tensions rise in the Middle East and the Red Sea, the Suez Canal is no longer just a trade route. It's a hostage. If this canal closes permanently, the modern world as you know it ends in weeks. Why does Yieldverse care about a canal? Because your financial freedom depends on these supply chains. When the canal is blocked, inflation rises. When inflation rises, your savings devalue. We are all tenants of these global choke points. To be truly sovereign, you must understand that globalism is a fragile glass house. This is why we advocate for local resilience, decentralized assets, and understanding the physical reality of the world. You cannot eat bits and bytes if the ships stop moving. The Suez Canal is a reminder that geography is destiny. It built the modern world, but it could also be the thing that breaks it. The empires of the past fought for the sand. The empires of the future will fight for the flow. Do you think the world is too dependent on a single trade route? What happens to your wealth if the Suez closes tomorrow? Let me know in the comments. I respond to the most thought-provoking ones. If you want to master the hidden forces of geopolitics and finance, subscribe to Yieldverse. Stay sovereign. I'm your host, and I'll see you in the next one.